Je cherche trop, je cherche trop. Je cherche, je trouve.
Is artificial intelligence working for us?
AI is all around us and asks societal, democratic, ethical and political questions. Who and what does it work for? Who controls whom? What role will we let it play? In short, what kind of society do we want to live in? The exciting part of research on artificial intelligence is that it allows us to make advances on our understanding of human intelligence. At the same time, the debates about this technology push us to reflect on what makes us human, our place as citizens and our societies. It's a huge topic that merits your attention. Shall we think about it together?
Emotions and creativity.
Firstly, I would like to question the human-machine relationship. To simulate human intelligence, AI attempts to replicate human cognitive functions: reasoning, motor skills, language, and vision. But that's not all. Being creative is also part of these cognitive functions. As I'm speaking, AIs are creating music, books, film scripts, paintings,
and even pizza.
The results can be amazing. Well, I can't say just yet in the case of pizza, as I haven't tasted it. Does this mean that AI is creative?
I have to say that we are still far from Hergé or the Beatles. Current AIs that we design are not capable of inventing. On the other hand, they can imitate. According to Albertine Munier, a digital artist who uses the web as material, AI is only a tool, but it offers an infinite number of possibilities, new shapes, and options we wouldn't have thought of.
And can machines have emotions?
Machines can behave like us in appearance. Significant progress has been made to detect human emotion and react accordingly with the appropriate emotion. But as Laurence de Villers said, research director at LIMSI CNRS, machines don't feel anything, they simulate. But they can make people believe that they feel something using sensors, for example. If you touch the sensor, a signal is detected and the machine reacts. But in fact, we don't even really need to have a robot around the program. Voice alone is enough to captivate us. Just look at the effect of the voice speakers. In 300 meters, turn right. We must not neglect our inclination towards anthropomorphism, which is very powerful.
If I ask myself all these questions, it seems necessary to me to question the relationship we're going to have with these machines, and above all, where they will fit in.
Decision-making aids.
Artificial intelligence algorithms don't just reproduce mechanical tasks for us. They can be great decision support tools in a lot of sectors, like transport, banking, insurance, and protection. One of the most interesting areas is medicine. For example, algorithms can help diagnose tumors by analyzing X-rays.
In the future, algorithms could diagnose appendicitis or predict the appearance of a tumor before it is visible on the image.
This is incredible. It's great. Of course, as long as everything goes to plan, algorithms can be flawed. It's nothing serious when deciding on toothbrush recommendations. But what if these decisions have an impact on my personal life, in the medical or judicial field? You can't just respond, "I had nothing to do with it, officer. It was the machine's decision." No, it's essential to provide explanations and justifications for the recommendations that have been made, or the decisions taken, right?
That's the whole point of what we call explainability. The technique that is trending today, deep neural network learning or deep learning, works a bit like a black box. We can't really explain how the neural network gets its results, at least in a way that is intelligible to a human being. So there is research to make these systems more transparent, and in addition, we are making huge progress in this area. Alexei Grinbaum, a philosopher of science CERNer and CEA physicist, explains that we need to design a system in such a way that it will always be possible to trace the causal chains that led to any action or decision made by the machine. For example, putting another learning system to explain what the first system does provides the first look at what is going on inside.
The black box effect masks the origin of bias. These biases come from the data used to train the program. But it isn't easy to analyze it afterwards. The program needs vast amounts of data to learn. As they say, it understands quickly, but it needs a long explanation. Not enough data, or not varied enough, or badly annotated can lead to poor results. For example, if we train an algorithm to recognize a sheep in a picture, and it is only showing black sheep, it will not be able to recognise any white sheep.
And then they call the AI racist.
In fact, the data is biased by our own stereotypes. A machine trained with biased data reproduces these biases without even understanding them.
A study published in the journal Science in 2017 has shown that many biases exist in human language. The word man is more often associated with terms of leadership positions in the science or engineering sectors. In contrast, the word woman is associated with assistant positions in the arts and humanities sector. Also, African American names lead to bad words. So if you don't pay attention when it comes to AI choosing a candidate for an engineer position, the CV of a black woman will go to the bottom of the pile.
Serge Abiteboul, a researcher at the Computer Science Department of École Normale Supérieure, tells us about an amazing experiment done in Israel. They realised that the probability of being released by going before a judge was greater after lunch than before. It makes me wonder about my own decision criteria.
Well, luckily they have other decision factors than how full their stomachs are. In any case, we can say that AI always reproduces the same behaviour from the data provided.
Once again, we see data's importance and the motivations of those who design these machines.
A democratic issue.
It's the eternal question of the tool and what we do with it. Of course, it's the humans who define the software's objectives. We can discuss this with them. In fact, it's a must.
And there are not only philanthropists.
Even when you have the best intentions in the world, the question remains, who should decide?
Serge Abiteboul said that it's not up to the IT people to decide how to develop an algorithm that calculates students' fate, just like it shouldn't be Google that decides to ban extremist or fake news sites. The digital world has developed so fast that it is still in the Western stage. Injustice is everywhere. The state does not understand enough to legislate properly and the citizens are lost. Many researchers agree that machines can help us evolve our decisions by offering us ideas and solutions, but it's up to humans to decide which rules the machines should follow. And, in case of doubt, to make the final decision.
So what should we do while we wait for the sheriff? We are addressing the conscience of the people who create the algorithms. We create ethical rules. The citizens are given keys so that they can mobilise if necessary.
This is what we are doing.
Yes, Theo, exactly. One building block at a time. Anyway, I hope this humble work, made entirely by humans, will help you see it more clearly. It's up to all of us to embrace artificial intelligence and invent new uses to make our lives easier, more interesting, or simply more beautiful.